Damn, this woman loves Parfums de Marly.
Oh my good God, it is just...
In today's video, gents, I'm reacting to Demi Rawling's 10 woman killer fragrances for men. Hi gents, so to start things off, I want to say I enjoy Demi's videos. I've watched at least 50, I bought her fragrance, and I've taken a lot of value from her channel. That being said, I've blind bought a lot of fragrances based off her recommendations, and for the most part, I have been steered in the right direction. So I'm looking forward to this video, which I actually haven't watched, and seeing if there are any fragrances here that, yeah, I'm going to have to go buy afterwards. And gents, really quick, if you've ever worn a fragrance that set off fire alarms, do me a favor and smash that like button. And if you've got a favorite woman killer fragrance, I want to hear from you down in the comments.
Hi guys, so you guys all requested this video. After I made my man killer fragrances for women, you guys all wanted to see the men version. So you want to see what fragrances are the women killer fragrances. I'm going to be totally honest. There's probably about 3 fragrances in this list that I personally am not the biggest fan of, but I put them in the list because I have personally met so many women that say so many incredible things about those certain 3 fragrances.
Now this is a great point. I'm happy that Demi brought it up, and that is that as somebody putting together reviews, lists, you've got to listen to what the people are saying, not necessarily what your own biases is. Because as someone that owns a lot of fragrances, the problem is you do become a snob because you get used to smelling all these amazing fragrances, and you forget that the person just starting off, when they smell something, yes, it may be a bit synthetic, and yes, it may be a bit overpowering, and yes, it may be overplayed and very common, but you know what, on that guy, and when she smells it, it just smells great. And women are drawn to a lot of fragrances that are pretty common out there, hence why they're common. I know for me, I've got a bias against florals. Florals are amazing, and this fragrance right here by Prada is, you know, one of the top 10 for many people on their list. For me, it wouldn't be my personal top 10, but if I'm putting together a list of top 10 versatile fragrances, this one would be on it because I know it's an incredibly versatile, soapy office fragrance that could be a workhorse for the vast majority of men.
One of the women is Shelby, my sister. We have the same taste, but we also have different tastes. But I also made sure that I asked different girls in my life.
So how does that work with your sister? You've got the same taste, but different tastes. Isn't that just different tastes? Just joshing with you.
So I made sure that I made this list, honestly, not just a personal list for what I think are the men killer fragrances. Otherwise, honestly, Herod would be in this list, but it's not in the list.
She really likes to say honestly. Did you notice that? Now, I have to admit that I go back through my videos and I edit out a lot of my redundancies, and I do have certain words that I say again and again. So who am I to throw stones?
Because that's just a personal thing for me. But I made sure that I did this as a broad spectrum of women killer fragrances in general that I've personally experienced with majority of women. So without further ado, I have 10 fragrances here.
So really quick comments about that intro. You can tell this is a little bit of an older video because most YouTubers are getting right to the point nowadays. Why? Because it actually matters for retention on the videos. She took over a minute to have an intro, which was nice, and we learned more about her and how she, you know, put this all together. I don't know, do you guys like it when we get right to the point? I personally like getting to the point, but I want to hear from you guys down below.
The first woman killer fragrance that I'm going to talk about is this baby. Now you guys always comment on my videos whenever I do like a top Parfum de Marly or like my favorite Parfum de Marlys. You will notice that this is never in my personal favorites because for me personally, me, Demi, this is not my favorite.
I think it's interesting. She didn't actually name the fragrance yet, but the one that she's holding is Pegasus. And it comes in this beautiful silver bottle by Parfums de Marly. It's a fragrance I have to admit is not one of my favorites. I mean, it's nice. And now that I'm smelling it, I'm like, what situation could I wear it? But I have to admit, it's just not one of, it's probably not, definitely not in my top 20 woman killer fragrances.
I don't hate it. I don't think it smells bad. It's just not my favorite scent. But Shelby, this is like one of her top fragrances from Parfum de Marly. One of her top of the top. Pegasus is it. And if you just go on YouTube and you ask any woman in your life what they think of Pegasus, majority of women are going to tell you how much they love it.
All right, Demi, so I got to disagree with you on this one. I do not think that this one should be in the top 10. This is not, in my opinion, a 4-season fragrance. You can definitely wear this in the winter, wear it in the fall. Point being is this is going to be a close in. It's relatively sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's a good one. My wife actually thinks it's a decent scent, but yeah, she's not in love with it. So got to disagree with you on this one.
Of course, this was going to be in the list. Despite my feelings of Dior Sauvage, I cannot tell you how many girls are obsessed with this scent. Personal friends of mine say, Demi, my ex, like I can't, whenever I smell the fragrance, he used to wear that Johnny Depp fragrance. This is it right here.
I appreciate that she put this on the list because yes, it's common, but it is a beautiful fragrance. If you take it for what it is, and yes, I've said this before, tons of the guys on the fragrance forums, they hate on this fragrance because it's so common, because there are maybe so many flankers out there, and I have a feeling she's going to talk about some of the other ones. I own all three, and I have to say that they are slightly different. It's not worth probably owning all three. Definitely go with the EDT. That's the original. That one's going to have a bit more freshness to it. And if you haven't smelled it, highly recommend you just walk into a store and smell it. And there's nothing wrong with wearing this fragrance. I think it's a solid choice.
It is the sex in a bottle fragrance for them. It is the best fragrance that they've ever smelled for a man. This is it. Dior Sauvage. I personally recommend getting the Eau de Toilette. Here I actually have the Sauvage Parfum, but I recommend the EDT the most. And despite what I say about Dior Sauvage, I can't hate on it because I used to love it. I used to love this fragrance back in the day. This is a total women killer fragrance. Signature scent worthy.
I disagree with that, though, that it's a signature scent. For me, a signature scent is something that actually sets you apart, something you wear again and again. This is a great introductory fragrance. All right, so I take that back. If you get the Parfum, this could be a signature scent. Just smelling this versus the EDT, this is deeper, richer. It's going to be more expensive. This will set you apart. The Parfum could be a signature scent. Quick question, gents. Why are you interested in fragrances? Now, I get it. You want to smell good, but why? Do you want to attract the ladies? Is it something you're wearing the fragrance for yourself so that you're going to feel better, so that you're going to feel more confident? So over the years here at Real Men Real Style, I've done a ton of research, gone to the stacks, and I kept coming across information about how scent, fragrance affects your mood, affects how you look at the world, affects how you react, affects how you feel. So why am I telling you all this? Because, gents, I want to share with you my project over at Mission Fragrances. Gents, we're focused on developing a series of fragrances that are engineered through the notes to help you become more focused, to be able to help you become more confident, to be able to help you overcome anxiety. So if you got to give a presentation to your boss's boss, guess what? You put on courage and you develop courage. Now, this is something that you're going to condition yourself. It's not something that there is a magic spray in a bottle. That doesn't exist. That being said, you can condition yourself when you smell something new to feel a certain way. And that's what we're setting up. All right, gents, as you can tell, I'm really excited about this. And if you want to learn more, down in the description of today's video, I've got a special link which will take you over to Mission Fragrances so you can enter your email address and sign up for our early bird list. We are going to be launching soon. And you want to be on that early bird list because those guys are going to get the best deal. There's some extra bonuses, some cool stuff I'm going to be throwing in for the guys that are on that list. Guys, as you can tell, I'm passionate about this. To learn more, down in the description of today's video, click on that link, go check it out.
Next up, I am actually planning to do like a public video with a few initios because I cannot tell you guys how much I am obsessed with the house, and so is Shelby. Shelby is totally in love with Initio. She has literally the same favorite houses as me. This is Blessed Baraka. I actually took this to New York with me. I wore this at Scent Explore. I got so many compliments on the scent because absolutely it is incredible.
All right, so I got a new one here. This is a fragrance I've never heard of, one I've never smelled. Sounds like I'm gonna have to go do a blind buy or at least get a sample.
This is a beautiful, oriental, a little sweet, ambery, sexy, musky, oh my good God, addictive aphrodisiac.
All right, so I'm a pretty conservative guy. I don't like hearing the Lord's name taken in vain, but Demi, I'm gonna let you get away with that one. You say it so well.
I'm not just saying it because I don't really care if you don't buy them. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not making money. They have a certain sex appeal. Initio Blessed Baraka, total woman killer fragrance. get on it.
All right, so I just did a little bit of research on Blessed Baraka, and apparently it's being compared to Carlisle. So that is a great thing because Carlisle is probably one of my top 3 fragrances of all time. When I wear a sweater, I want to wear this fragrance. Just a beautiful fragrance. So if, Blessed Baraka is anything like that, which now I have to get that fragrance.
Percival, okay. I constantly get questions from people that are just getting into fragrance, they're just getting into niche, and they ask me, they say, Demi, I know you love Parfum de Marly. Which is the gateway fragrance to the brand? Me, I always say 2. I say Percival. Actually, no, I say 3. Percival, and they're in my list as well. So for me, this is easily like one of the safest fragrances from the house. It smells incredible. There was a guy at my meet and greet wearing Percival, and I said, seriously, man, you smell so good. I cannot see someone not liking this scent. No women, no man could not like this scent, and I'm just going to put that out there right now.
All right, so I'll agree that Percival is a very safe choice. Why? Because it's basically a higher end version of one of the more iconic fragrances. We've got Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce. This one feels higher quality. So I will say that if you're looking at the 2 and you've got extra money to spend, this is worth the upgrade, especially if you've already tried this. You've got maybe vintage versions and the new stuff just is not, tickling your boat. Now, if you're on a tight budget, check out Mont Blanc's Legend. Solid fragrance, very similar in smell to this. But, because you're paying like 1/3, 1/4 the price, expect also performance. You're going to get maybe 4 to 5 hours out of this thing. Fierce, you're going to get about 7 to 8 hours. Percival, 10+ hours.
Where it all began. This is like where my fragrance journey began. Pacific Rock Moss from Goldfield and Banks.
All right, so Pacific Rock Moss. I have to admit, never heard of this house, never heard of this fragrance. So, all right, my interest is piqued. Let's see what she has to say about it.
Totally a woman killer scent. Doesn't matter what you say. Personally, I believe women like either fresh or sweet on a man. And for me, in my experience, women mostly like the fresher sort of things.
I agree with you there. Most men are going to be served wearing a fresh or a slightly sweet fragrance. The ladies do like that. Some of the more challenging fragrances, yes, you wear it for yourself and you may feel confident, pulling off Aramis or Koros. But the thing is, a lot of ladies just are not going to be drawn to that unless you've got a deep relationship with them and they're going to love whatever you're wearing. Or if you're able to rock it with so much confidence that honestly, there are so many other signals that, there are ways to pull off challenging fragrances, but the vast majority of the ladies are going to like that sweet and fresh. Totally agree.
And I have a really close guy friend in my life who I absolutely love and adore. And I gifted this bottle to him, not this one, but a bottle of Pacific Rock Moss. And he told me, he said, Demi, the amount of compliments that I get with this scent, I have never had such attention on my fragrance in my life. He gets so many compliments with this scent from women.
All right, so I did a little bit of research on this fragrance and I saw somebody compare it to Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. I like this fragrance, except for the fact that it doesn't last. It's a solid fragrance, especially if you layer up and you're willing to put it on twice, maybe 3 times a day. And sometimes during the summer, you don't want something that's heavy, overpowering. Actually, a lot of times during the summer, you don't want that. So definitely, it sounds like an interesting fragrance. I'll look around, may grab it, but I've already got a lot of light fragrances that I don't wear very often. So I don't know, maybe I need to start wearing these more.
Eros, the king, the clubbing king. I actually smelled this in New York City. There was a guy, he was walking past me. He looked about maybe 17 or 18. And I could tell straight away. I was like, this dude's wearing Eros and he smells freaking amazing. I got the scent trail, it went in my face. He smelled so good. I cannot tell you how many guys I've complimented wearing Eros. It actually does smell kind of different on each person, but it is fantastic. Fresh, oh my goodness, smelling it right now. Oh, I recommend this for all year. I totally recommend it for all year, and especially for a night out. If you wear this on a night out, you're gonna get so much attention. You're gonna be fighting girls off with a stick.
All right, so I have to admit, yes, a very common fragrance, but one that is absolutely beautiful. This definitely should be in the top 10. Similar to Sauvage, it's just one of those DNAs that, for good reason, it's just absolutely beautiful, a masterpiece. That being said, if you want something slightly different, check out Eros Flame. I think that this is a great fragrance. It's a nice alternative. You're going to find most places that sell Eros, they will sell Eros Flame. Smell the difference. This is a little bit apple. I believe this one has a little bit of cinnamon as well. So a little bit spicier, but still very similar DNA. And I like them both. But if I'm going to wear one, I'll probably go with Eros Flame just because it suits my personality a bit more.
My baby, Leighton. Leighton, okay, so like I was saying about these two, when people ask me, I always say Percival. They ask me, which one do I get? And I would say Percival is a lot safer than Leighton, although I still think that this is appealing. But if I had to say which one is safer, you know, you've got like 3 fragrances in your collection. You might have Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, and Allure Homme Sport. Let's just say that. Which one would I go for? Probably this one. So that's just what I'm saying. It is a safer option, but Leighton. Oh my good God, it is just...
All right, Demi, so you know I love hearing you say that, but I gotta say we're getting a little bit heavy with PDM on this list. So Leighton, solid fragrance. I bought this one with my own money and I wear it. I love it. I'd maybe put it in the top 50 of woman killer fragrances, not in the top 10, maybe in the top, maybe the top 20. That'd be pushing it. Actually, it would probably be Leighton exclusive that I would put in the top 25. And I wouldn't get in the top 10 with this one because it's a little bit more challenging. This is a little bit more animalistic, but it definitely is a fragrance for the fall, winter, and you do make a good point about Percival. This fragrance right here is going to be more universally accepted. This is a safer fragrance. So if I had to recommend one or the other, I probably would, like you, recommend Percival.
I remember ages ago I did a poll at the beach, like a little testing with women at the beach, and I gave them Creed Aventus and Leighton won. That's just, and Creed Aventus is like the biggest seller of niche fragrance in the world, but Leighton beat it, hands down. That's just proof, that's just facts. I'm sorry, that's just facts. So Leighton from Parfum de Marly, totally recommend it.
I don't know, what do you guys think? Which one's better, Creed Aventus or PDM's Leighton? Let me know down in the comments.
Shelby was like, you have to include Acqua di Gio Profumo. And I said, it's not my favorite. And she said, doesn't matter, it's most women's favorite. And that is so true. I have to take my personal feelings out. I love this fragrance. I do really enjoy the fragrance now. I used to not like it so much, but now I can appreciate this scent for what it is, because to me it smells really high quality.
All right, so this is a safe choice to put on the list. Would it be on my list, top 10 lady killers? Definitely not. It's a great fragrance. It's a very safe fragrance. You can use this in pretty much any situation except maybe the winter. That being said, the aromatic, definitely it's a little bit heavier, a little bit stronger than the original. And the original, 1994, this one is still a good fragrance, a little bit dated. The DNA is just very common. You've smelt this before, believe me. This one here, just a little bit darker, more, maybe it's the incense. It's got a little bit more of the aromatic with it. It's going to also last longer. My issue with it being on this list, though, is I definitely wouldn't think it's a lady killer. This is a good fragrance, but I wouldn't put it on this list. Agree? Disagree? Let me hear you down below.
My other Initio. My other Initio I have spoken about so much already since I got it, and I literally am going to buy a backup bottle because of how much I adore this scent. I adore it so much. Oud for Greatness. It's just a masterpiece, and Shelby is totally in love with Oud for Greatness, just like I am. It is the best oud fragrance that I have ever tried. It's like a really soft, refined, smoky incense, sweet oud scent.
All right, so I've heard of this fragrance. I don't own it. I've never smelt it. I did look around, did a little bit of research on it. So Mancera, this one I got here, instant crush, and I'm aware that this company clones a lot of fragrances. A lot of people say that the saffron here, the sweetness, it just maybe doesn't have the smokiness that the Oud for Greatness has, and maybe not a whole bunch of oud in this one. Point being is, I like this fragrance. I don't wear it very often, and it sounds like this is a fragrance that you've got to get a sample of, you've got to try. So this definitely is on my list of fragrances I'll be picking up.
And the final fragrance, guys, I am so excited. I just picked this up in New York. I have wanted this for so long. I have had this on my list for so long. So I went to the Parfum de Marly boutique and I was like, where's Dali? I need Dali right now. It's easily, for me, these are the two most likable fragrances from Parfum de Marly.
All right, so we got another Parfums de Marly on this list. Actually, it's one of the ones I do not own. I own most of their fragrances. Darly. I went and quickly looked at what fragrances it's compared to. I had 2 of them in my collection. We have Le Male, whatever you call this thing, sweet, classic fragrance. Jean Paul Gaultier, a little bit too sweet for me. I definitely like Ultra Male a little bit. However, someone let me know in the comments, how do I pronounce that thing? Individuel by Mont Blanc. These two were both compared. This one's beautiful. I think it's a great fragrance. A little bit weak. I wish it lasted longer. Beautiful sandalwood. And I normally don't like sandalwood, heavy sandalwood. This one does a great job. It reminds me of, what is it? Creed's original Santal, amazing fragrance as well. Even better than this one, definitely should, because it costs a lot more. Point being is it'd be interesting if, you know, Darlie is a combination. I'm going to have to go try that one.
Totally an incredible scent. So if you haven't tried it, it is so underrated from the house. I'm going to be talking about it now for a long time.
All right, Jen, so my final reaction, my final thoughts on this video right here, I felt it was way too heavy with two houses. I would have liked to have seen other houses represented, because there were so many great fragrances out there that I consider to be lady killers. And if you've got a lady killer that was not, you know, wasn't represented here, I want to hear from you down in the comments below. All right, Jen, so what video to watch next? How about my reaction here to Jeremy Fragrance?